Hi everybody and welcome. I'm Count Christo and this is just a quick look at the wonderful Aurora 4X. So this is a game that I wanted to share with some of you. It's not exactly like the Paradox games that you might be used to, but it's really good fun, and I wanted to highlight it because I think not many people. I'm not claiming that it's some underground hit that I've discovered, but not a huge number of people have seen this game, I think. You may have seen Quill playing it. He has a fun Let's Play on it, which you should watch if you are interested beyond this point. But I want to just quickly show you about this. So, you know Stellaris. I'm going to assume that most of the people watching my channel at least know Stellaris. It's not wholly dissimilar to Stellaris, but it's more complicated. It's a one-man project, and as you can see from the UI, it's fairly rudimentary UI, but it's very functional, and I have come to enjoy it. It's also all kind of to scale and things, which I like. So if you want to see like the asteroid belts in their true positions and things, it's fun. I like that. So what is this game? Basically, you start off on Earth. Usually, this is generalizations if you're very familiar with the game. You start off on Earth, and you build spaceships, and you colonize first the solar system, and then the stars. And you set off through these jump points, which are the ways that you move between systems, and you can you set off and you colonize the world. The galaxy rather, not just the world. And you design and build spaceships, and you design and build the components of spaceships, and you do battle with fearsome alien species and all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, I'm just going to do a really quick video taking a look at this game, because I think to some of you who like the more complicated Paradox games or mods, this might be up your alley. So let me show you the one thing that I think is it's certainly one of the most divergent from other games, which is the ship design. So if we head here, this is our class design screen. So let's take a look. And by the way, if you're good at this game, forgive me. It's only like my second campaign. So here is our prototype ship, the Slayer of Titans. I realize this might be quite difficult for you to read. So this is and we can see that on this ship, we have some active sensors, some armor, a bridge, some crew quarters, damage control, engine, engineering, fuel storage, magazine, missile fire control, and missile launcher. And there's no kind of auto design in this game. It's not like Stellaris where you don't really need to bother designing your ships unless you're getting quite specialized. In this game, you have all of these components to choose from in tons and tons and tons of different categories. And you have to, assemble a ship to do what you want it to do. And the ships have specific tonnage, and they have build cost. The tonnage will affect how large a shipyard you need to build the ship. And the build points, obviously, is how expensive it is in both minerals and then also in time, I believe. But now it gets even more complicated. So let's take a look at this ship that I'm designing. Right now it has two 5,000 engine power, which is just basically thrust, internal fusion drives. Now where did those internal fusion drives come from? Well, we made those too. Here's the research project window. You design the components, not quite all of them, but almost all the components that you put on your ship, including engines. And when designing a component, there's all kinds of subsections of decisions you can make. Firstly, what technology do you want to use? But that's just always use the best one you have. And then there's also, okay, well, how much engine power do we want it to have? Well, why wouldn't you want it to have loads more engine power? Because fuel consumption tracks inversely with engine power. So it's or rather it tracks positively with engine power, but at a greater speed. So when you lower your engine power from 100% to 50%, it goes from using 1 fuel to 0.18 fuel. So it's far more fuel efficient when it's a weaker engine. And also, if you can make it a larger engine, you can adjust the thermal signature if you have the technologies for that. You can just change the absolute fuel consumption when you have better technology for that. And the larger and larger you make this engine, the more and more expensive it becomes to design, because not only do you have to research each of these individual subtechs for the engine, you then have to actually invent the engine, which is why this is currently a prototype, because its engine is a prototype. It's not currently a technology. I haven't invented this particular engine that I designed yet. And this tracks true for other things. So for example, let's say this is going to be an anti-ship ship. This is going to be a picket ship. So this ship will shoot missiles at enemy ships, and this ship will shoot down incoming enemy missiles. So let's say we want to put some missiles on it. Okay, well, first off, we need a missile launcher. So you invent a missile launcher, and you can choose its size. That determines how big a missile it can fire, its reload rate, and then you can make it larger and smaller, and that then also affects reload rate. And then, okay, we need a missile to fire out of our missile launcher. So here's the missile design screen, and you can change how much of your missile is dedicated to its warhead, its fuel capacity, its agility, its engine, its reactor, its active sensors, its geomagnetic sensors, its electromagnetic sensors, all of this stuff, you know. As you can see, there's a lot to this game. So now you've invented a missile, but in order to be able to shoot your missile, you're going to need to invent a active sensor and a missile fire control. The active sensor will see the enemy that you want to shoot your missile at, and the missile fire control will guide the missile to that seen enemy. And you can affect what resolution your sensor is. So what sized object is this sensor designed to be looking for, and therefore can see at the largest range. And it's pretty cool. And then you've got to design your ship, and you get new technologies, and so you get the Slayer of Titans Mark II will no doubt follow the Slayer of Titans Mark I, and it's all quite sophisticated. And there's there's a lot of different components that you'll need to invent. You have to invent the magazines and the missile fire control, the missile launchers. You can upgrade the armor, the active search sensors, and then you're going to think, okay, so we've got our engines. How far do I want this ship to be able to go? Because you'll need to design its fuel capacity as well. And of course, the more fuel you put on it, the heavier it's going to become, and the more literal fuel it's going to use, because you have to produce your fuel. You have to harvest it from super Jovians, gas giants, or you could produce it from a particular mineral. That's the very basics of ship design. This is the kind of thing that immediately grabs me because it's sophisticated. You're making complicated, interesting decisions that, to me, that's really compelling. It makes me want to play more, basically, just because it's cool. There's a lot to think about. The range of your missiles, for example. You need to think about, okay, am I going to try and outrange my opponents so I don't have to use my point defense to shoot down incoming missiles? But that means you're going to have a lot of fuel in your missiles, which means you're trading off the power of the explosive warhead, and you're trading off the maybe the speed of your missile, which means enemy point defense might be able to shoot it down more easily, or its agility, so it might not be able to hit targets moving as quickly. Things like that. Round and round it goes. It's a very cool and complicated design system. Let's look at the economy in this game for a moment, because that's also pretty cool. So you can build all these different things, and here are all my existing colonies. And you find these new colonies with huge resources on them, which you can mine, and then set up shuttles to bring the resources back and forth in order to bring it all home. Because unlike something like Stellaris, minerals are not just magically transported into a worldwide pot. Earth has its own production centers and needs people to bring things to and from it. So let's take a look at how you command ships. I'll bring this over here. So right now, I'm gathering minerals from 6 different planets. So as you can see, under my general human command, I have the subsection logistics, and under that the subsection mineral imports. So the Alpha Centauri, however I'm going to say this, Singiri, Gillies, Groombridge, Proxima Centauri, and Wolf freighters are regularly bringing stuff in using this cycling movement order that you manually set up. So you say, okay, move. They're currently in the Alpha Centauri system. So move to the Wise jump gate, jump through that, and then move to the Sol jump gate, jump through that. Then do an intra-system jump to Earth, unload the materials, refuel, go back, and repeat. And so this guy's going to go back and forth, this Freight Chronicles 023, going to head back and forth, loading up minerals. Except he's not, because he's got a mine in his... Okay, I've made a mistake. He should not have a mine in his cargo, so he's completely failing. I was wondering why my Alpha Centauri minerals weren't being picked up. It's because I accidentally... Which Alpha Centauri colony are you trying loading from? Moon 11? Yeah, I wondered why that mineral stockpile was building so much on Alpha Centauri. It's because the darn ship has a mine in it. Okay, so when you next load Alpha Centauri Moon 11, there is a mineral... a local mineral stockpile on Alpha Centauri Moon 11, I believe. Yeah. Deposit that mine while you're there. Unload mine. Cool. I suppose I should have not cycle moves either. So once you get there, you've already loaded all minerals. I should do this in the other order. So you unload the installations first. That'll drop off the mine. Then load all minerals. And then come back to Sol, to Earth. Unload all minerals and refuel. And that's how you command ships in the game. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. But I also have other kinds of ships, and I have these this survey fleet, which currently has no one in it because we're not currently surveying. The Eliminators are my survey class ships. So if we were to move one of those, if we were to detach one of those from the Earth shipyards, where they're currently just sitting in orbit, move them up here to the survey fleet, we can then give them orders to go and geologically survey, to look for minerals, or to look for jump points to new and exciting worlds. Or we could just give them a standing order. We could just say, hey, survey the nearest body requiring geosurvey, and then once you've done that, if there's no other bodies in the system, move to another system requiring geosurvey. But if you get low on fuel, refuel. And if you exceed your deployment time, that means how long the ship is designed to be in space, then come home, refuel, resupply, and overhaul, which means do some maintenance on your ship, basically. So that's how you command fleets, and obviously if I had a combat fleet, which I don't currently, you can give that other orders. You can say, go somewhere, turn your active sensors on, we'll go to ship combat, we'll assign a weapon, we can assign from a potential target, we can open fire fleet, and we can launch salvos of missiles that move in real time on the map, and you can see them going towards the enemy. It's very exciting. You go back to the Earth shipyard because we don't need to deploy any survey craft just now. So let me show you the galaxy map as well. Here's the galaxy map. We're here in Sol, as you can see, and these ones with the turquoise or teal, I'm not sure, little outlines. That means we have a colony there, a populated colony as opposed to a mining colony. And right over here in FL Virginis, there is a hostile alien contact. Here they are. The FL Virginis aliens. We've yet to decipher their communications, so I'm not able to. I don't have a proper name for them yet. They are currently hostile aliens, and this is the kind of game where sometimes you need to have a Google sheet on another screen. So I have observed them to have a missile that can travel at 33,933 kilometers per second, which means if I want to try and defend myself against them, I'm going to. And I've only seen a salvo of 6 of these missiles, but I suspect they can get larger than that. So I know that I need a anti-missile missile which can hit missiles traveling at this speed in order to be able to defend myself from these Virginis aliens. So I'm looking forward to building a combat fleet which is going to head over there and see what we can do to blow them up. I suspect they are precursor aliens, meaning they are from the remnants of a long-dead empire, which means I hope to be able to pillage their planet for advanced research and technology and be able to get all kinds of stuff from them. But first, I'll need to finish my research. So if I show you how the research works, you have a certain number of research labs on a planet. Earth, for example, right now has 175, and you can assign a certain number of labs to different technologies. So right now I'm working on magnetic confinement fusion drive technology, but that's going to take not that long actually. It's only going to take another year and a bit. So I'm probably not going to commission this ship using this technology, which I haven't actually researched yet. I'm probably actually going to get the magnetic confinement fusion drive technology and then build an engine using that rather than using the other tech, basically. I also have some labs on Luna. But you can research in lots of different categories, and here are all my different scientists. And as you can see, different scientists have different levels of bonus, and they also have different levels of the number of maximum labs they can use simultaneously. So you can research in a bunch of different areas. As you can see, you've got biology, construction, defensive, energy weapons, logistics, missile, kinetic, power, propulsion, sensors, and control. And each thing's cost a different number of research points, and each lab will produce a certain number of research points per 5 days. There's also a civilian economy, which involves shipping colonists around. You can have them ship your installations around as well for a price. And they also trade between your different colonies. Each colony produces and demands a bunch of these different trade goods, as you can see here. And it's a fully functioning kind of independent economy, which is pretty cool. Another awesome thing is terraforming. So Earth, as you can see, has a colony cost of 0. That means it's perfectly habitable. Ganymede, on the other hand, has a colony cost of 7. That's because right now the surface temperature is minus 197 degrees Celsius, and we need that to be between minus 10 and plus 38 in order for it to be considered habitable for humans. So I'm adding Phrygium to the... Wait, isn't that the wrong one? I think I'm adding like anti-greenhouse gases. Aurora terraforming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the wrong one. Let me just take a look here real quick, because this is a good thing I discovered this. Yeah, I didn't mean to be adding Phrygium. I meant to be adding Antusium, I guess. Damn it. Okay, well, let's remove all that Phrygium. That's like 3 or 4 years worth of gas changing the temperature in the wrong direction. It's going to take a little bit to correct. Sorry, Ganymede. Didn't mean to radically cool you down. But now Ganymede because it has such a high colony cost, it's really difficult to have people live on the surface. So what I've done is I've actually, if we can find Ganymede. Ganymede is, that's a moon of Jupiter, isn't it? So here it is. What we've actually done is put an orbital habitat in orbit around Ganymede. You can see it here under orbital habitat Ganymede. So this guy here, can I not see a summary of the whole thing? No. So there's 5 million people that can live on each of these. As you can see, my aptly named liver station can have 5,000 people living on it, which means we can have 15 million people living in the orbit of Ganymede, working the manufacturing sector, because you need people to work installations, and it breaks down by sector. Right now, there's quite a lot of people in the service industries. And so we've got them working as terraformers. I need another 5 million workers working as terraformers. At this percentage of manufacturing, I'm going to have to bring out like another freaking 10 different people. But currently, there's quite a lot of people living on the surface of Ganymede. I should probably remove them so there's less people required for the service industries. But that's pretty much this game. There's, I mean, obviously it's extremely high level, very, very, very general stuff. There's also a very complicated and dynamic leaders system. You have these are all my naval officers. There's just a staggeringly large number of them. You also have ground force commanders, because there is ground combat in this game. There's also civilian administrators who have a ton of different bonuses. This guy's good at mining, this guy's good at shipbuilding and production, this guy's good at wealth creation. They each have different administrative ranks, which means they can control larger or smaller planets. They have health, they have promotions, you can give them medals and awards. It's a complicated and very enjoyable game, which I highly recommend you try out. Thank you very much for watching. I will include a link in the description to the forum for this game. It is a one-man creation, and he's sharing it all with us for free, so you are welcome to go and try it out there. I will also include a link to somewhere where you can get what's called the Aurora Loader, which is a third-party tool that allows you to manage multiple games at once, and can also allow you to enable mods. There are very few mods for this game, and those that do exist need to be approved by the creator. If you do use mods, don't report any bugs on the forum, because the creator does this for free and doesn't need to be pestered by your modded bug reports. Yeah, ground forces, you have xenoarchaeology, you have geosurvey teams. I have one on Ganymede right now. You have construction teams. It's a sophisticated game, and you can build all kinds of different vehicles. You can have, okay, I want a medium-sized vehicle with medium armor and a light anti-aircraft, and I'm going to invent that. It's a complicated game, and it's very enjoyable. I heartily recommend it to you. If you do check it out, I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.